we've got to look at the head of the Secret Service and this. Look, I have absolutely no pardon for the female Secret Service officers who looked incompetent. They looked incompetent in the video that we've all seen. Not necessarily on the stage. The one woman there seemed to be doing her best to protect him, just like the male agents, but she was too short. But however, when they were bringing the president over to the vehicle, the secure vehicle, to get him away, it looked like it would look like a bunch of sorority sisters who were hungover. The one with the ponytail whipping around, she didn't know where she was going. The other one who couldn't reholster her weapon. Not one of these women inspires any confidence. And by the way, if they're 30 years old, it would be a lot. I mean, they seem very young, and they don't seem in control or command at all. Look at this woman. She doesn't know what she's doing. She gets her sunglasses back. Okay, great. This woman on the left looks like the one who was crouching earlier, though I can't say it for a fact. And I want to talk about the diversity effort. But before we go there, Chuck, the whole weekend, all I could think of was, fine, let's have that discussion. But let's first talk about who didn't secure the scene. The person who didn't make sure the rooftop was adequately secure is the person we need to be talking about. And I have no idea whether that's a female or a male. Do we know anything about who that is?
We don't. You're referring to what's called, who was the site agent, who did the protective advance ahead of time, and who was there to run the show the day of. We don't know who that person was, the level of experience, the gender. We don't know any of that. I can continue here with the DEI program if you'd like.
Yeah.
The director of the Secret Service, Kim Cheadle, has created a program known within the Secret Service as the 30 for 30. That is, the director wants to achieve 30% female agents and officers within the Secret Service by the year 2030. This program has created great contention within the Secret Service. And some of the questions that are going to be asked of the director is, have standards for hiring, for training, for assignments been lowered to achieve this program? It's a very straightforward question. And now the director is in a position where she's going to have to prove that it hasn't. And I hope it hasn't, but unfortunately, I don't think, speaking honestly, that's going to be the answer.
To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030, and even allowed YouTube influencer Michelle Carre to train with agents.
But I'm very conscious as I sit in this chair now of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates and ensure that we are developing and giving opportunities to everybody in our workforce, and particularly women.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it looks obvious. It's so absurd to try to paint this as female empowerment. Is it female empowerment to take a bunch of women who are obviously unqualified for the job and let them publicly humiliate themselves and endanger the lives of a president and his fans? Is that female empowerment? That's a national embarrassment for womankind. No one gets uplifted by such a decision, whether it's on a Secret Service detail or a Boeing plane. Diversity, equity, inclusion have no place in jobs that relate to safety and security. And frankly, they have no place anywhere, but certainly not in those jobs, not in an OR, not in a cockpit, and not in front of the president's protective detail. It's deeply wrong. Look, I used to live in Arlington, and there was a woman in my townhouse unit who was about 6'2" and strong. She was built, and she was a Secret Service agent. And I remember thinking, that kind of makes some sense to me. I could see that, as long as she's weapons trained and she can do all the other stuff. And then you get the occasional female firefighter who matches that description too. But it's less than 0.5%? Those are the only ones who should even be considered. And the women who look like me, who are, on the smaller side and could easily be run over by a 5'7" male, have no business being there, Chuck.
This wasn't necessary. I've worked with females my entire career, and the females that I worked with were fantastic. They were as trained as I was, as capable as I was, both physically and with a firearm. And there was great comfort and trust when you were serving on protection details, of which I served on many. So, to divide the agency like this has not been helpful. But this is where the director has focused since her time as director. And I think that's going to come up because I don't think the priority of this director's attention has been placed where it needs to be. And that is getting the most qualified people into the agency and focusing on the operations of the agency, which is a no-fail mission. You got to show up to work and get it right 100% of the time, each and every day. The Secret Service is not the type of agency that needs to be kinder, gentler, and softer. That's not it. That's not it. That's not what the Secret Service does each and every day. What you wanted to see with former President Trump being taken off that stage, I can appreciate the visual of the fist raised in the air, but if I'm there, his feet don't touch the ground.
Yeah.
He loses all say on being evacuated from that very dangerous situation. And unfortunately, I fear when it's looked at that the answer was that they were incapable of doing so because they had incapable people around them.
Mm-hmm. He talked today to the New York Post and Byron York about the fact that you hear him in the tape saying, "Where are my shoes? Get my shoes." And he said he was hit so hard by the Secret Service, he was hit right out of his shoes. He was wearing shoes when he began the speech, but then they listened to him when he said, wait. Right. And I take your point. And in that particular moment, they should be in charge, not him, because they knew that they had shot the one sniper, but they didn't know, Chuck, whether there was another sniper.
How many more? The assumption is always there's more. The assumption is it could be a diversionary attack. It could be split tactics. It could be everything. So the assumption is you get them up as soon as you can. You get notified the threat's down, at least the identified threat is down, and you move them, you get them out of there. Forget the shoes. Forget stopping to reassure the audience. I get it. But at that point in time, it becomes my show and we're moving.
It could have taken a moment where he dodged a bullet, all but dodged a bullet, and turned it into a situation where he actually did take a bullet. I mean, I see the danger. Yeah. I've got to ask you about resources because, again, this is only from this one reporter who you guys are both saying does not have her facts right about shooter protocol, sniper protocol, that absolutely the Secret Service can shoot any threat without being shot upon. But she also did report, and it's gotten a lot of traction online, that one of the reasons there may not have been appropriate resources for President Trump there was because, and she is sourcing two sources within the Secret Service community, saying the only permanent agent from Trump's detail during the rally was Special Agent in Charge Kern, and that all others were temps. Pittsburgh U.S. Secret Service Field Office had a Jill Biden visit and designated a lot of resources to her, according to at least one of her sources. She says the advance work only occurred one day beforehand because of a lack of resources. Where were the resources? It was the Jill Biden visit. Let me get your reaction to that first, Chuck. Is that possible? Right now, the Secret Service is denying that on the record, saying that is not true, that she's wrong on that as well.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it's not uncommon to have more than just one visit fall under a geographic area controlled by the same field office. The Secret Service historically has been able to walk and chew gum regarding resources, even if they needed to fly them in. So I don't know why that would have been the problem. I think they would have been both adequately staffed and the capability was there from a resourcing standpoint for sure. So I can't comment on that. I can tell you that it doesn't surprise me. It does not surprise me. Sorry, that they are both having to be staffed significantly. One's the first lady, and one is the former president and the presumptive nominee for the Republican Party. So they're both pretty high level.
Yes. What do you make of that report, John? I don't know whether it's true, but she's also in there reporting that many of those working around President Trump were temps. I don't know what that really means within this context.
Well, DHS Secretary Mayorkas is providing the same level of protection to President Trump that he's providing to the border. You know, I'm not the expert that Chuck is on dignitary protection, but a basic principle of body bunker as a tactic, putting yourself around the principal to shield them with your body from any ballistic threat. A basic requirement for that technique is that the people providing the body bunker are as big or bigger than the principal to provide them the protection. And exactly what you pointed out, Megyn, what you're seeing is just the prima facie evidence that Trump has been assigned the B team or less.
Do you ever think, how can I work this hard and still be in debt? The piles of overdue bills, the threatening phone calls, never having money to do anything. If you are trapped in debt, Done with Debt can be a way out. They have developed aggressive new strategies to end your debt permanently. Done with Debt stands between you and the harassing, annoying bill collectors. Who wants to deal with them? They tirelessly negotiate with your creditors to lower or even forgive what you may owe. And they do it all without bankruptcy or new loans. One client said one phone call saved us a fortune. I only wish we'd done this long ago. Done with Debt has unique strategies to get you out of debt faster and put more money in your pocket every month. But you need to hurry because some debt solutions are time sensitive and you don't want to miss out. Visit donewithdebt.com. Talk with one of their debt relief strategists for free. What do you have to lose except your debt? Go to donewithdebt.com. That's donewithdebt.com. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.